Hi, Angela from uRender here. In this video of the beginner tutorial series, we are gonna talk about the uRender dashboard and final resolution render. In the last videos we already did the lighting of the scene, created the materials of the dragon, did the effects and post effects and created the camera. Let me show you where you can download the trial. Request a uRender trial license, download uRender for Cinema 4D, run the installer. If you need help installing uRender, check out our trial installation video guide to take a look at the installation manual. Then open the folder according to your Cinema 4D version. Now copy the uRender folder, go to your Preference folder, Plugins folder and paste. Restart Cinema and open uRender Studio. Click on Manage License and copy the key that you received by email and click on Activate. You can download the scene and all the other in-between steps. Just head to our website, downloads, examples and assets and scroll down. In the zip you can also find the final dragon scene which I'm using right now. I will use the uRender layout. You can find the dashboard over here. If you don't use the layout, you can find it here under uRender, or go to Extensions, uRender Dashboard. You can even undock the entire thing and put it anywhere you like to have it in Cinema. The dashboard in general gives you better control over what kind of data is going to be updated when the live mode is active. Adjustments in these settings can be useful to increase the playback performance. So here under live updates you can turn various options on and off. Update transforms enables synchronization of position, rotation and scale of objects. Camera enables camera updates. Camera children for objects that are parented under the camera. Next lights for light updates. A high amount of point lights in your scene, for example, can cause longer render times. Volumes for volumetric objects. Materials for materials. And shaders for shaders like Cinema 4D noises. Geometry enables mesh updates in live mode. Instances for instance updates. And the last one is for the render settings. Next one is live view. So if you want to refresh your scene, just click here. It basically deletes and resends the scene. It is useful if the scene is not updated correctly. And with the live resolution settings you can set the resolution of the live view. Set it to viewport if you like to use your whole viewport. The viewport mode is set by default. The exact resolution of the active view panel is used for rendering the scene. If you choose output, it will use the render resolution which is set in the output in your render settings for the live view. You can change the output here in the render settings. You can also change the custom if you want to use a specific width, height or to test out formats, rather than going to the render settings for every change all the time. The scale lets you adjust the size of the uRender live view resolution. The rendering gets scales up if you used anything lower than 100%. So if you have a big scene that takes a lot of performance, you can simply scale down the resolution. but there are a lot of factors that can slow down your scene. Meshes with millions of polygons, using high resolution textures, setting the multi-frame sampling too high, using too many lights in your scene, setting the shadow map size too high, and animation can affect the performance significantly. With Shift V you can go to your viewport settings, save frames, and turn on off a tinted border for your camera output. This is helpful if you like to see the exact frame of the camera. You can change the opacity and even the color of the tint. At the end you always have to go to the render settings and set the output resolution there. In the Volumetrics tab you can set the temporary blend factor. It blends a certain amount of former frames with the actual frames volumetrics. This removes and softens artifacts and is only affecting the live view. So it has no influence on images rendered to picture viewer. I like to create two separate render settings for a scene. One render setting for final rendering and a low render setting which I use while I'm working. So I just copied the low quality setting and rename it to high quality. I always activate multi-frame sampling, and for final quality you should increase the sample size up according to the scene. Sometimes 2 does the job already. You should not set it too high since the samples are set to n square, which means a value of 2 are 4 times samples, a value of 4 are 6 times samples, and so on. You will notice how the performance decreases. For the final render I will put the samples to 8. The anti-aliasing mode, FXAA, gives a basic amount of anti-aliasing and can be combined with multi-frame sampling. Just remember that the more samples you have, the more impact it will have on the performance on the scene. If you want to save your render, you can just simply click here and activate save. And change the directory where you want to save your render according to your preferences. I usually use this if I render out an image sequence. I'm gonna uncheck this cause I like to render still. In the output settings you can change the width, height, film aspect, and so on. For a still you're gonna set frame range to current frame. I want to render it in HD, so I changed the width and height to 1920 to 1080. And change the camera focal length to normal. Now render to picture viewer, and after it is rendered you can just go over here and save your file and choose any output format you like. Set your frame range to all frames or manual if you like to render an animation. Same here, render to picture viewer. And save your file in any format you want. That's it for the dragon scene. In the last 3 videos I will talk about the multipass, volumetrics, and a quick sum up of the dragon scene. URender is the true real-time rendering software that permits you to achieve immediate, noise-free rendering results in full resolution. Hope you liked this video, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.